the Chinese version, and it was inspired by Xiumin's makeup. And that's really towards like the breakdown where he does like this little screamo segment and everybody has full-on war paint going on. So yeah, this was very, very easy. It's just a lot of shading pretty much. One thing that I didn't show in the video was that I went back in with liquid eyeliner to redefine the spiderweb design, but that's the only thing that I think I forgot to put in or record. And I'm sorry if I sound rushed, it's just my camera is like dying and it's just not a good situation right now. So yeah, it's very, very simple. Even if you're a beginner, I feel like you could definitely pull this off. It's a lot of shading. Just make sure you pay attention to where you're putting it and try to get the spider webs as even to as many little, loops as you can. Yeah, so that's that. Just let's go right ahead and get into the tutorial. Okay guys, so first things first, I just washed my face and then put a moisturizer on, and then I used my concealer in my normal skin tone, and I blocked everything out and hid all my redness and imperfections, and I also did that for my lips too. Then I went in with my foundation and I just quickly dotted that over my face and blended it in, and I also blended some down my neck as well. After that, I just took my white concealer and I just dotted that all over my face on top of that foundation, and I rubbed that in as well. This is going to give you a slightly more pale skin tone, but not quite white. In the pictures, his skin isn't quite white. It's still pretty natural, but it is very pale. After that, I'm just going to take some baby powder and I'm just going to set all of that. And if you're new to this channel, I usually always set my makeups with baby powder, especially if it's a white makeup. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, I just primed my lids above and below, then I filled in my waterline and a little area about a half moon shape underneath my eyelid as well with white. Then I just went in with a flat angled brush and some white eyeshadow just to set that and make sure it doesn't move. Once I was done with that, I went in with my kohl pencil, black kohl pencil, and I just kind of filled in my entire upper lid and went right around that shape that we just created with the white. And this is because my kohl pencil doesn't really smudge or blend out almost at all, and it's very stiff. And it has a lot of staying power, so I use that on my lid so it doesn't really crease. Then I just took a regular eyeliner and I tested these all out on the back of my hand, which you will see maybe later on in the video, but this one does smudge out the best, so I just kind of created two eye socket shapes around my eyes and filled it in, and then I went in with some black eyeshadow just to set the majority of it, and then I took a blending brush and I blended it out. Once I was done blending that, I just kind of took whatever was left on the brush from blending and I kind of ran it down the sides of my nose just to make my nose a little bit more slim. Then I took that pencil again, my regular pencil, and I created the bottom of the spiderweb design that we're going to create. And then I took a small lip brush and I smudged out the bottom. And the reason why we're doing this is because we want to give the spiderweb some dimension, and it's very shadowed, but it's very shadowed in a downward direction, meaning you're going to blend towards the floor and leave everything else towards the ceiling and the top of your head unblended. Try to make these as even as possible and do the same on both sides. If you do 5 on one side, do 5 on the other. If you do as many as I did, do the same on each side. So I find it easiest to just do the bottom, the middle, and then the top lines, and then go back in and put 2 lines in between. That way I get it as even as possible. And then you're just going to do the same thing for the actual spiderweb design and the little circular pieces, except you're going to blend away from your eye, not towards your eye, and make sure that it's blended very well because you want it to be the lightest behind each of the next row of web. So you're going to continue this all over on both sides. Once you have that done, you can kind of work on the skeleton structure. This is kind of like the sides of the temples, almost for the look. So you want to make sure that this area is all filled in, and you'll see that I darken up in a minute, and then I apply black eyeshadow on top just to make it very intense and very dark and very black. And then I blended everything down into my hairline. After that, I kind of took whatever was left on that flat brush, and I just created a new kind of hairline almost, and then I blended it as far back as I can go into my actual hairline. If you have black hair, then that is great for you, but I don't, so I put on a hat at the end just to kind of cover that because it looks a little strange with blonde hair. Next, I did the cheekbones, and the cheekbones aren't blended as far back as the temples are, so you just kind of want to add some shading and then blend that out. Like I said before, this is a very, very simple look to do. It's just a whole lot of blending. And again, I went back in with that eyeshadow, black eyeshadow, and then I patted that over top and just intensified that. Next, I noticed he had like a little bit of a little divot in the middle of the chin area, so I just added that. I'm sorry if you can't really see that well, but he did have a little something. And then he had a couple of these little half moon shapes, which I also just drew on and then blended down. This was actually a very confusing face to do. I just added some gray eyeshadow here in the sides just to hollow it out a little bit more. But this was actually very confusing because in one of the pictures, the face is a certain way, and then in the other pictures that I took from the screenshots, it seemed a little different. So I just kind of incorporated the two ideas. Then I just added some triangular shading around the cheekbones, and then he has a little bit of a ridge in the forehead. And then I went back in and shaded the nose out to make it look more skeletal and a little bit more slender, and there's a particular shape around his nostrils that I tried to achieve as well. Then I went in and drew the nose in, and from the pictures it looks pretty open in the outer part of the triangle, which is why I don't completely connect these two sides you see me drawing here. And I just kind of shaded it in as according to the photograph. I find with this look, it was easier for me to do a face chart beforehand, which you can just print from Google Images, which is what I do. So I print out MAC face charts, and then I draw them in. I actually made mine with pencil. I don't know if I'll put a picture up of that, but it's a lot easier just to figure out how you're going to blend it. So if you do a face chart beforehand, use pencil to mark everything out and to blend everything, because pencil will blend out for you with Q-tips on paper. Why that happens, I don't know, just the miracles of life, I guess. So next, I just kind of contoured the jaw a little bit more, and I darkened all that area underneath my chin. I also went down along the sides of the neck, and I blended along the sides of my shoulders as well. Now I just kind of tilted my shoulders forward, and then I found where the hollows were of my collarbone and where my neck and stuff meet, and I just kind of shaded in there. And then I'm just drawing two straight lines all the way down to kind of get my throat bone almost. And then I dotted a line down the middle, which you won't see because we're going to shade it anyway, just to kind of line the centers up of each little section of this throat piece. And then I also rounded out the edges of each piece as I went down. And for the top one, I blended both up towards the face, and I also blended down just to kind of blur out that section. But for the rest of them, you're just going to blend the top down. And for the sides, you're going to blend those out as well. For the lower portion, I just went back in with the pencil and I just kind of darkened that a little bit. And then I just took that gray eyeshadow and shaded around it a little bit more, and I also went in with some black eyeshadow in between each of the little sections of the throat bone, and I added like a triangular bit of shading between each of them just to make them look more separate and stand out a little bit more from each other and look a little bit more three-dimensional. After that, I just went back in and did a little bit of extra shading where I seen that he had it in the screenshots. Next, I just filled in all of my ears with that gray eyeshadow, and then I went back in with a little bit of black eyeshadow and just did a little bit of rough etching in on my ears. Nothing very particular going on in his ears. You can't really see them that well anyway. Then, to look like he's kind of frowning a little bit, I added some shading right between the eyes, near the eyebrows, and then I filled in my eyebrows just like he has his filled in, and then made them look a little bit more frowny at the beginning. Now it's time to do the lips, and I left the lips for last because I did have a drink with me, so do the lips last if you're worried about eating and drinking while you're in the middle of this process. So I just blocked them out again and took a little bit of black eyeshadow and drew between my lips just to create some extra shading, and then I drew on the teeth. And teeth are very, very simple. You just gotta know really where to shade them, which I show you in this video. And for the last little couple teeth, you're just gonna kind of drag out the side of that shading, just to make it look a little bit more hollow. And then I drew in the top of the teeth, and then I blended that upwards, and then from there, between each of the teeth, where the extra little line piece is, you're going to make a triangular shape more at the base near the teeth, and then just drag it up. This will give a little bit more dimension between the teeth and look a little bit more 3D, like it's sunken in the middle to define the shapes.
Okay guys, so that was my tutorial. I really hope you liked it. It's really, really simple to do. For styling options, I would prefer black if I were you, because that's kind of the thing that he has going on in the video as well. You don't really have to have a hat, but if you have black hair or black hair spray or whatever, use that. It's just because my hair doesn't quite go well with a random black line on the top of my forehead, so I just put the hat on to cover that up and kind of put it all together. But other than that, it's very, very simple. I did my ears. So yeah guys, thank you for watching. Feel free to contact me on any of my social media. This will start off my Halloween series. I am absolutely done with summer stuff. For right now, I might do a couple back to school videos, but that's about it. I really want to give you guys as many options as I can for Halloween, so this is kind of number one in that kind of Halloween category. If you have any suggestions on something you want me to do or try, please feel free to inbox me on my email, my Facebook, or my Twitter, or on here if you'd like, leave a comment. So yeah guys, until next time, stay crazy, sexy, beautiful. Bye!